Hello, folks. This is Jacob Harkey. It is Friday, March 29th, 2024. And I'm sitting in my car in Los Angeles, California. I've eaten myself some dinner, and I would love to maybe protest tonight if other folks are in the area and gathering somewhere like La Poubelle or Big Blue or wherever folks may find themselves tonight. But last I checked a few minutes ago, I didn't see many local folks who were live yet. So what I thought I would do is maybe just take a bit of time to talk about a few recent developments in a couple of the lawsuits that I've been paying attention to against Scientology that are playing out in the Los Angeles Superior Court. So the first one that I wanted to chat about for a moment is Remini v. Scientology. Now, in Leah Remini's lawsuit that she filed against Scientology, there has been another development in who's going to be the judge in this case. So, when Leah Remini originally filed her lawsuit, just to recap, the original judge who was assigned was Judge William Fay, and Leah removed him with what's called a peremptory removal or a peremptory motion to I can't remember the full legal name that's given to the motion that she filed, but anyway, she had the first judge removed. The second judge, whose name was Barbara Shepper, recused herself. And I believe that the reason for that is that her husband had worked as a Scientology attorney. So the third judge, since this lawsuit has been filed, was Randolph Hammock. And I actually got to see him in action twice in the courtroom at the Stanley Mosque Courthouse in Los Angeles. But just this week, David Miscavige, the leader of Scientology, through his attorney, Jeffrey Riffer, filed a new peremptory motion to remove the judge. So as I understand it, I think that each party is able to do that once, peremptorily remove the judge from the case. And now Leah has done it, and Scientology has done it, or David Miscavige has done it. So now we don't know who the judge is going to ultimately be in Remini v. Scientology. Now, I am a little bit disappointed that I'm not going to get to see more of Randolph Hammock in action, because he was definitely a showman. And this is the first of all of the Scientology proceedings that I've paid attention to where there was actually a camera allowed in the courtroom. If I'm not mistaken, it was ABC. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I think it was ABC that was given an approval from the judge to be recording the proceedings as they were happening. And he's a showman. I can recall even just watching him handle the cases that came before Leah's on the days that I sat in his courtroom to watch Leah's case. I heard the way that he was talking to the other attorneys in other cases and telling them to read his law review articles, and parties were talking about settling, and he would say, "Oh, you should check out my law review article. It's called To Settle or Not to Settle." Good title, isn't it? He's Maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit. Who knows? You'd have to ask somebody else who saw him, but he was definitely an entertaining judge to witness in action. And I would love to see the recordings that ABC, assuming it was ABC, I'm pretty sure it was, the recordings that they got of him in action. I would love to see. My understanding, because they didn't live stream it, my understanding was that they were going to take the footage that they got from all of these pieces once we're further along in the lawsuit and they're able to create a more cohesive story that fits the parameters of what kind of story they're trying to tell on their news network. I figured that they would just be saving all of the footage that they got at these first initial hearings for later. But now that the judge has been removed, I'm hoping that they'll share some of that footage, because I would love for you all to be able to see some of what I saw in Judge Randolph Hammock's courtroom. Now, Leah filed a response. If I'm not mistaken, it was just yesterday, March 28th, Before I get to that, I want to talk about what's happening in another lawsuit that also has had a development this week. And that is Bixler v. Scientology, which is the lawsuit that Danny Masterson's victims filed against the Church of Scientology in 2019. They filed this against Church of Scientology International, Religious Technology Center, Danny Masterson, and David Miscavige. I may even be missing one. I'm not 100% sure if I got every defendant, but in that lawsuit, I attended a hearing last week where I believed that I was showing up, and the attorneys were going to talk about the second amended complaint that was filed by the plaintiffs, where they added a racketeering charge and also added an additional plaintiff, an additional Danny Masterson survivor. Now, they ended up not talking about any of that in the hearing, and instead, Judge Upinder Kalra, who is the judge in Bixler v. Scientology, also not the first judge on that case. It's not the only Scientology case that has switched judges. But anyway, Judge Kalra ended up just responding to anti-SLAPP motions that Scientology had filed. And just as a quick recap of what that means, SLAPP is SLAPP, and it stands for Strategic Lawsuit Against Public Participation. And if you've been sued and you believe that the person suing you is just suing you with a frivolous lawsuit to try to keep you quiet, you can file an anti-SLAPP against them. Now, ironically, Scientology is filing an anti-SLAPP against the Jane Does who have experienced harassment at the hands of Scientology. So it's ironic that the anti-SLAPP motions were coming from Scientology. Anyway, Judge Kalra denied all of Scientology's motions to strike and ended up really just talking about that in the hearing that I attended last week, although he had not published his final ruling. Well, he did publish his final ruling on Monday of this week, where he just spells it out. The legal jargon, if anybody is interested to look at that, has all been filed now. But the important part is it's a victory for the plaintiffs in that all of the counts of action that were in their first amended complaint are staying in the lawsuit. So all of the harassment that they allege, they'll get their day in court. They'll get to have all of that heard. Now, speaking of Judge Upinder Kalra, I just told you that we're waiting to find out who is the next judge going to be in Remini v. Scientology. Well, Leah Remini's team filed a motion yesterday. Excuse me. I don't even think this is called filing a motion. She filed notice with the court that it makes sense for Judge Kalra to take over her case now that he is getting familiar with Scientology due to being the presiding judge in the Bixler v. Scientology lawsuit. Now, is the court going to agree with Leah and assign her case to Judge Kalra? I don't know. We will have to wait and see. As of now, Leah Remini's lawsuit is without a judge. So, it's been a week. What a week it's been. I'll be keeping an eye on all of that. Another thing that some of you may have seen me chat about a little bit the other day, and it's something that I'm still making sense of and learning details about myself, but that is related to La Poubelle and Françoise Coster. I recently searched both of those names, Françoise Coster as well as La Poubelle, while I was at the courthouse, because when using Los Angeles Superior Court websites, you can access documents that have been filed with the court remotely from your house, but you have to pay money. And if you're at the courthouse, you don't have to pay money to access those documents. So I was just trying to read through stuff and see what I could learn about the history of lawsuits or of legal proceedings that have involved Françoise Coster and La Poubelle. And there was one that I found particularly interesting. And the case, what did I do with that paper? Ryan Joseph Haynes, an individual, this is Robert Browder, plaintiff, v. Ryan Joseph Haynes, an individual, La Poubelle Incorporated, and then a few other businesses that are in the area. But the lawsuit filed by this plaintiff, Robert Browder alleges that he was beaten up right in front of La Poubelle. And part of the reason that reading through some of the details here that this was interesting to me is because La Poubelle Francoise Coster in in the document that she filed in her petition to obtain a restraining order against DOA and Streets, she mentions that she has operated La Poubelle for years. I think she even says for decades without incident. And based on some of the stuff that I see, it appears that there's been incident. So I have one printed copy of this. So if DOA or if Streets come out tonight, I would be more than happy to provide them with the document that I have if it proves to be useful as they hopefully are able to avoid these restraining orders. I am getting tripped over my words tonight. These restraining orders that Francoise Coster is aiming to obtain against them. I haven't seen the chat much. Who is in the chat? I see E has given me a super sticker. Thank you so much, E. I really appreciate that. It's very kind of you. Who else is in here? Why don't I scroll up a little bit so I can say hi to some folks? Kara Feeble says, Jacob, you did such a good job on Aaron's show. Proud of you. Thank you, Kara. That was a lot of fun. It's honestly been a little bit surreal to get to know some of the folks that I've been watching on my phone for a few years now. It was especially cool, honestly, to talk to not only Aaron, but Aaron as well as your lawyer friend, Zach, because a lot of the understanding that I have come to have, the things that I've learned about these lawsuits, your lawyer friend, Zach, has really done a great job of breaking down a lot of the terminology that gets used in court and given us lawyers, a lawyer's analysis of some of the things that are going on, which I mean, it's valuable. And to be able to go to the courthouse and then come out to chat with both Aaron, who I've seen so many updates from regarding Scientology, as well as your lawyer friend, Zach, who always does a great job of clarifying the legal details. It was really a lot of fun. So thank you. Thank you for checking that out. And thank you for shouting that out. Are You Jellin is in here. She says, hi, Jacob. Hi, Are You Jellin? It's good to see you. Jeff Reborn Now says, hi, Jacob. Hi, Jeff Reborn Now. Jeff Reborn Now says Remini is going to win her case hands down, and she'll turn around and use the money to help more people escape from Scientology. That would be in Leah's character to use her winnings to help others. And I hope that you are right. I hope that she does see a victory in this case. DT says, hi, Jacob. Where are you at? I'm in LA. I'm near to La Poubelle and Big Blue, a little bit closer to La Poubelle. So I sort of anticipated that folks would be out here at some point tonight. I didn't make explicit plans with anybody, but I figured folks would show up sooner or later. Otherwise, if folks end up protesting somewhere else, I certainly could move toward where the action is happening. Jeff Reborn Now says, hey, someone told me Chris Without a Bedtime is done with Scientology protests. Is this true? I don't know the answer to that. I have not heard that. I did see him do his first video in a few weeks, a few days ago, where he, I believe, was interviewing somebody who was in jail with Danny Masterson, if I'm not mistaken. I saw part of it, but I wasn't able to hear the guy that he was talking to very well. As far as your question, I have not heard that. I don't know that to be true. Kara Feeble says Jacob Tao is going to give you a shout out to protest if you want. Is he out protesting, or is he? You mean like give? Oh, like if I go out and protest, then he'll be shouting me out on his stream, I think is what you mean. I mean, yeah, if I do end up going out there to protest, then sure, I'll probably. We'll see. If other folks are interested in going out, then I'm more than happy to meet up with others. I'm not necessarily super keen on the idea of rolling up by myself. We'll see what the night's got in store. I don't mind sticking around here to check in with more of you folks in the chat. Who else is in here? Good Girl on Roller Skates says, hi, Jacob. Hi, Good Girl on Roller Skates. Thank you, Jeffrey Born Now. Humanity says, will you keep an eye on La Poubelle v. Josiah? I do not believe well, to my knowledge, there is no such case as La Poubelle v. Josiah. That would seem to imply that La Poubelle has sued Josiah, which I don't think is the case. There's a criminal case. Josiah's being prosecuted. Um, I attended Josiah's arraignment. The truth is, I haven't followed super closely with everything that has happened since then. There may have been filings that I missed. It's something I can keep an eye on. We'll see how much I choose to bring into the public on this channel. I'll if I feel that something is necessary to bring up, especially if there is some kind of evidence that Scientology or somebody who is Scientology adjacent has made false claims that have led to unjust charges being filed, then that is absolutely something that I will pay attention to. Presently, I don't know enough details to know all of the details to know everything about his prosecution. I reached out to the court reporter from his arraignment to see if I could get a copy of the transcript, and she never responded to me. I could reach back out. We'll see if there are more updates that I feel are pertinent to share regarding Josiah, then I absolutely will. But yeah, as far as the way that your question is worded with La Poubelle v. Josiah, I don't believe that there is such a case as La Poubelle v. Josiah. Could I be wrong about that? I guess it's possible. Although I just looked up La Poubelle in the court computer just a few days ago, and I didn't see anything about that. So I'm guessing that there is no such case, and you're thinking of as criminal prosecution. Thank you for the question, though, and good to see you in here. Christina Lembo says, I'll go protest with you if you come pick me up in Massachusetts. If only it were that easy. Oh, Good Girl on Roller Skate says, I'm Lala. Hi, Lala. So I have interacted with you on Discord. Thank you for sharing who you were. It's good to see you again in here. Patsy Shropshire says, Selfless Self has been at the Blue Building. Is he still live? If so, wouldn't be opposed to heading over there. Oh, Zachary Ellison, I see, says, I'm up in the valley. Was waiting to see if people were turning up too. LOL. Well, hey, if you want to come on down, I'll probably be up here for a little while still. So even if it ends up being just you and I, and we're just having more of a chat, friendly journalist reporter chat to talk about recent developments and everything that we've been paying attention to, that'd be a fun time too, even if it's just us. Up to you, though. Would be good to see you if you do decide to come out there. Vegas Andrews says they sometimes skip the weekend at Poubelle so they don't get stuck being detained all weekend. That is a valid reason. It's a valid reason not to go out protesting on a Friday night, because as we have seen happen now, when folks get arrested over the weekend, you got to stay in jail for longer because the courthouse doesn't open until Monday. And they don't tend to arraign felonies until the second day of the week. So we'll see. We'll see if folks turn up. 1KAAA says, Easy and Tower done protesting. Chris Hellcat said he'll protest or go live when something interesting comes up. This is news to me. I had not heard that. Kathy Smith also says DOA won't be out tonight. Got you. Okay. Well, so it sounds like that is what folks have heard. So I can't confirm that I've heard this directly from them, but that may be the case if that's what other folks have heard. Interesting. Well, I will certainly miss them, and if they do decide to come back out and continue to protest, I will be happy to stand in solidarity alongside them once again. But it's also totally their choice, and if they decide that this is not what they want to do, then that's totally fine. That is their prerogative. Liddy Marsh says, I'm late. Has anyone heard if Jess got her restraining order? That's a good question. I have not heard any updates about her restraining order against a skateboard guy, as he's come to be known. I haven't heard updates. I'm not sure what the latest is in that. I haven't seen Jessica in a little bit either. But yeah, if I happen to become aware of updates soon, and I remember, or somebody reminds me in the chat, then I may share that with you all. Dunbar So says, remember, it's a holiday weekend. Yes, that is correct. And happy Good Friday to those who celebrate. And Easter is coming up this Sunday. So actually, you know what I didn't think about is the Monday after Easter, is the court closed on that day? Or I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I didn't even think about that. Oh, Zachary says, I'm 20 minutes out. Big Blue coming up. Okay. Big Blue is where you're headed? If Big Blue is where you are headed, then I may join you very soon. Yep, I'll head down to the Big Blue building. All right. I will say hey to some more folks who are on here then, and probably head on over to Big Blue very soon then. I love the name OSA admin who's in the chat. It seems like after the money and lawsuits rolled in, everyone found something else to do. It's very disheartening. Well, like I said, people don't owe it to anybody to be doing this every day or every week. People can come out as much as they want to or are comfortable with. I'm not holding it against folks who are choosing not to come out tonight. But then again, if more folks do come out, it will be great to see it. Scrolling through. Who else we got? Any questions that I've missed? Linda says, comment, Jacob, if you have time, please watch DOA's interview with Josiah. I think it will intrigue you about his case. Will do. Thank you for the comment. I appreciate it. Anthony says, just subbed, my friend. Great work and research, friend. Thank you, Anthony. I appreciate it. Olga Marin says, is Lapu busy? It's a good question. Perhaps I'll be headed to Big Blue soon, but perhaps I'll check on that before I go. Kathy Smith says DOA wants a party for Sunday. Interesting. I had not heard about that yet, but that would be fun. Marlene says, Jacob, have you ever considered law school since you would make one hell of a lawyer? I have. And thank you for the comment and question. Yes, I have. I've taken the LSAT. I did not apply to law school in this admission cycle for the fall, but I will plan to retake the LSAT, which is the law school admissions test, to try to get a better score and reach out to some additional professors from undergrad when I was at UCLA, so that I can get the best application that I can in order to hopefully qualify for as much scholarship money as possible, because law school is not cheap. But yes, it is something that I have considered. I'm also pretty interested in journalism, and if I have a law degree, that'll make my ability to accurately report on legal proceedings. It will enhance my ability to report on such cases. So it's definitely a consideration. Oh, Kathy Smith says court with Jess was supposed to be this morning. I didn't even know. If I had known, maybe I would have tried to be there to support her. Well, thank you for sharing that. Maybe I'll see what info I can track down about that. I Eat Candy says, Jacob Harkey, cool, juicy news for you. Trashy V12 went dumpster diving tonight and got Scientology papers, and they chased him. Wow. I don't think that I know who Trashy V12 is. Is that a is that a streamer? I assume. I'm yeah, I'm intrigued to know more about that. Well, thank you for letting me know. Cajun Juju says court open Monday. Got it. Thanks. Oh yeah, and thank you for clarifying. Easter is not a federal holiday. Okay. I'm seeing Laura is doing something at the Easter thing at the Big Blue Building. Reach out to her. DOA wearing a bunny suit. I saw that Danny, I think earlier, was live today talking about getting a bunny suit for DOA, and I was wondering what that was all about. So, okay. Now it's all making sense. Okay, Trashy and crew in Chicago have been killing it. Got it. Interesting. Oh, and I see somebody else has said, "What happened to Jess's case today?" Gosh, I feel like I blew it for not knowing that that was today. Tisk tisk. Well, I'll see what updates I learn and what updates there are to share. But alas, as of now, I don't know. But thank you to those in the chat who reminded me that that was today. Big Railin' Dad says, what does La Poubelle have to do with Scientology? If you want to take down Church of Scientology, it's not by protesting some bad dive bar. So the protesting or auditing that's been done in front of La Poubelle has not been essentially not necessarily been directly toward the cause of taking down Church of Scientology. But when we show up in front of La Poubelle, we are there to let public patrons, potential patrons who are considering going into La Poubelle know that they're not safe in there because the owner of the restaurant, Francoise Coster, is friends with Danny Masterson. She knew that he was drugging women who he was going on to SA in her bar. She knew that the drugging was happening in her bar. She attended court to support him when he was being prosecuted for SA, heard the name of her bar mentioned many times, continued to defend him, continued to harass the Jane Does, and wrote a letter in defense of Danny to the judge, or in support of Danny to the judge leading up to his sentencing. So the owner of that restaurant does not do what is necessary to ensure that folks are safe at her bar. And in fact, when folks drug and then go on to SA victims who they have picked up at that bar, she has a track record of continuing to be friends with and supporting the perpetrators. So that's what we're doing in front of La Poubelle when we do show up in front of La Poubelle. Hope that makes sense to you. Hope that clarifies things. GM Flower says DOA has new t-shirts. Hope the rain holds off. We'll be in LA for big birthday bash. I think I did see that DOA posted a picture of a new shirt on Instagram today. So yeah, it'll be interesting to maybe I'll see what I can do to support him and get one for myself. We'll see. Continuing to scroll through the chat, see if there's any more messages or questions that I've missed. Verity says, until 2 days ago, Jess wasn't aware herself she was still required for court hearing Friday, so I'm sure she wouldn't be holding that against you, Jacob. Got it. Thank you for clarifying. Lexi Evans. Hey, Lexi. She says, had to lay the babe down. How are you doing tonight? I'm doing pretty well. I've had some dinner. I'm in LA, and I figured I would do a little live and share some updates about things that have happened over the last couple of days in some of the lawsuits that I've been paying attention to. And it sounds like Zachary Ellison is going to be heading to Big Blue. So I'm actually going to end this live before too long so I can head over there and meet up with him. But good to see you in here, Lexi. Glad you made it in. Holly Lewis says, Jacob, love you so much, but lip noise, LOL. I'm sure you don't know you are doing it. Not ASMR, LOL. Well, thanks for pointing that out. I will be aware of that. I think that I was just, that was just my awkward attempt at filling the silence when I was trying to find additional comments to pin and read out. But thanks for letting me know it's not ASMR. Maybe I'll retire that awkward dead time filler. All right, folks. I will get off of this live so that I can head over to the Big Blue building and meet up with Zachary Ellison. So thank you for those of you. Thank you to those of you who tuned into this one. And I will see you again very soon. All right. See you soon. Bye-bye, everybody.